This episode of Bourbon on Ice, presented by Your Friend Frosty and your bartender, Mike Whiskey, is brought to you by the Cape Media Center of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The views and opinions expressed during this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the Cape Media Center. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh, Whiskey, where are you? Why am I alone in the studio?
Whiskey's not here now.
Did anyone hear that? There was an ominous voice.
I'm here. I'm your ominous voice.
There it is again.
I'm your visitor.
This is worrying me. Perhaps we should just start the music. Welcome, listeners, to Bourbon on Ice,
Where we talk about everything nerdy, like gentlemen.
Join us every week for our local Cape Cod take on, well, everything.
Laugh, cry, be confused, and laugh some more.
I'm your friend Frosty.
And I'm your bartender, Mike Whiskey.
Stay tuned. You think they'll like the episode?
Oh, they'll definitely love it.
Welcome to a fabulous episode of Bourbon on Ice. I am your friend Frosty.
And I'm your special guest, Robare, third time running.
Oh my gosh, it's Robare! Which is why I tried to use that word that I never, ever say.
Fabulous?
That word, I never say that.
Well, you got two gay guys here as opposed to one of each, straight and gay. So, yeah, it's totally fabulous.
I just can't say that
It's
word.
fantastic.
I've never been able to pull off words like that. One day back in college, I decided I was going to try being, positive and open because I envied this one gay guy who was very open. So I went up to a bunch of girls and I greeted them the way he did. Hi, what's up, bitches?
Didn't work, did it?
Maybe it was my inflection. Maybe it was the tone.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it went over quite right.
Probably not. They saw right through you.
Yeah,
maybe.
they were very upset.
But see, I thought you'd be perfect with fabulous, because don't you go like this? Fabulous with the hands?
Oh, no. I put them all the way out here.
All the way out.
Like I'm spinning around in a field like, what's her name from Sound of Music?
Oh, Julie Andrews.
Thank you. Wow, take away my gay card.
Ah.
Everyone, I am happy to have Robare back. Whiskey, holiday season shenanigans. He will be missed.
But our aim is getting better.
That's hysterical.
Uh-huh.
As he's not here. I figured that we would, welcome Robare back to the studio all the way from the Isle of Rhode.
Oh, that never gets old.
You are now entering Rhode Island. Also, you are now leaving Rhode Island.
Be glad I don't live in Marion.
Oh my God.
Entering Marion. Yeah?
I like Marion. It's such a nice, rich neighborhood with very rich people.
Who don't realize not the double standard, the innuendo that they live in. I'll get there eventually.
Oh my God! Why? What should? Are you actually whiskey in disguise? Because that's so something he would say.
I know a little heterosexual humor.
What is that like? Oh, I hope I never have to find out.
It's like venturing to the other side.
Ugh.
Side.
Is that your attempt at an echo?
Yes.
I love it. It's hysterical.
Echo.
Well, people, it has been an outstandingly trying year. Lots of things have happened in my life, in the world. I mean, for crying out loud, is Ukraine ever going to be the same again? But we have endured, and honestly, I'm just glad to have good friends with me. And one of them is Robare, who, like I've said, it's his third time.
Yeah.
Well, he said that.
I did.
But he did have a complaint.
I did?
Yeah, he knocked on my door one day, and I was like, how dare you, and threw water on him.
And yet I didn't melt.
No, that was my intention, and it didn't work.
No.
The thing, blunt and simple, is that I am part of the leather community, as I made abundantly clear, and the fetish community. Robare is part of the fetish and leather community, but his experiences have been vastly different than mine. So he said, a lot of the stuff you're saying, I've experienced it differently. I've gone to things that you haven't. I've done things. I've seen it in a different way. Shouldn't people hear about it from someone else's perspective? And my feeling was, it's actually a good point. So I caved to pressure. Peer pressure.
Uh-huh.
Let this be a lesson. Always cave to peer pressure.
Especially if they're wearing leather gloves.
Hysterical. So I think we should talk about some stuff. I'm just going to point out the fact that you're sitting here in full gear and you look outstanding.
Thank you.
Wait, hang on. Where's my phone? And okay, excellent photo. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So Robare,
Yes.
best buddy, cool guy,
Uh-huh.
towering ginger giant.
Uh-huh.
What would you like to tell us about the fetish and leather community that I haven't already?
So let me paint you a picture back. Imagine it. Sicily. No, sorry, not
Oh my
Sicily.
gosh.
No, I don't go that far back. So my
You realize that in 8 years, the 80s will be 50 years ago?
shush. I don't want to think about it 'cause that'll make me ancient.
Continue.
Thank you. So my interest with the leather community started way back in 1987. So practically 50 years ago. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I was living with my parents, and I would go out to Albany. And Albany had lots of interesting things, including a leather community, a leather organization called STARS MC. And STARS stands for the 5 major cities of the Albany area of Schenectady, Troy, Albany, Saratoga, and Rensselaer. Don't try to spell Rensselaer. It's really weird with lots of N's and S's all over the place.
It sounds made up. Are you sure this place exists?
It does. I think it's Dutch. That's part of the problem.
Okay, then.
So, made up of these 5 areas, you got leather guys coming together for bar nights and meetings, what have you. So I happened to stumble across one of their bar nights. Hot guys in leather everywhere. And I'm like, oh, hi.
Scandalous.
Scandalous indeed. So fast
title.
forward to me moving out to the Boston area. And I discover another organization called Flag. Fits like a glove. And
I think I've heard of that one.
I think you have too. And that's really where things started to happen for me. I joined the club, became part of the officers. I believe I was the secretary because I took great dictation.
Also, I have this kind of funny image of you in a mini skirt and really sexy high heels.
Sitting on the desk, that's right. No, not with that president. No, I don't think so. No.
Moving on.
Thank you. But it was through Flag that I got to be introduced to other clubs, like at the time, the Enforcers of Rhode Island.
Wow, that sounds intense.
Let's see, the Brotherhood up in Boston.
They were mutants?
No, not the kind of brotherhood. Just a lot of guys that like to do things together.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, that's how you get into the clubs, to show that you like to do things
stuff.
together. Yep, you got it. And then I got introduced to contests, such as the Mr. Ocean State Leather, which of course doesn't exist anymore, and the Mr. Boston Leather, which of course doesn't exist anymore.
Wow, a lot of stuff. You're responsible for this, I'm assuming?
For them being there or their demise?
The second one.
No, not the demise. The demise would usually be because the bar that sponsored the contest folded or changed or something like that. So in the Boston contests were held at the Ramrod, and that's how it became Mr. Boston Leather. And to stay in Boston, another bar would have to run it, and nobody else was interested. And then Provincetown said, well, we can do it, but we're not Boston. So Mr. Boston Leather faded into obscurity, and Mr. New England Leather started up. I entered a Mr. Boston Leather contest back in 2002. A previous organization called the Brotherhood, them again. They used to put on the contests. And the bar decided that it didn't want them anymore. They wanted to do it themselves.
Oh, yes.
A little from column A, a little from column B, and
I'm
things.
guessing a lot more from column B.
Probably from column B, especially the one with the purse strings, as it were. So my name got thrown around a bit for that contest. Somebody thought I might be good as an MC. Somebody thought I might be good as a tally master. Somebody thought I might be good as a den daddy, who's the guy who stays backstage and helps the contestants with their garments.
That's an enviable position, I'm sure.
Helping them in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And so at the time, I had heard that there was only one contestant entered. And a contest is not fun when there's only one person competing. So I threw my hat in the ring and I said, I'll compete as well. So the day of the contest, there were 5 of us. Oh, had I known there'd be more people, I probably would have stuck with another position. But here I was, I'm committed to entering the contest.
Committed. That's the good word.
That's a good word for it, yes.
I can't do that stuff. I thought I could, but I did it once and it was terrifying.
So, Boggy, Frosty.
Either.
I'm sorry.
Either or.
You remember when you competed for the flag contest, how you had an interview before you got on stage?
Yes, I do.
So for Mr. Boston Leather, the contest was thrown together so last minute, we didn't really have time for an interview. So we weren't going to do it. But just before the contest, the judges insisted that they get a small chance to speak with us. So even though it didn't count for any points, they took it all backstage, and the judges asked us 2 questions. Give us your leather history, and what's your definition of brotherhood? And of course, my definition, my history went all the way back to Albany, and then
forward,
and then forward with flag, where I was the secretary, vice president, statistician, something else. I forget what I was everything except the treasurer and the president, because he likes to keep a firm grip on those 2 things. But I'm bum.
You said it, not me.
I did.
You beat me to it.
I did. Thank you. So, and I mentioned all the concerts that I've been to, all the other functions that I've been to, and various other functions, flea markets that I'd been to. So, I had quite a bit of history. One guy, his history was, I just got my first pair of leathers, but I think this whole leather thing's like totally cool. He said it almost exactly like that. And then the other question about brotherhood. My definition was the only one that included women, because there's a lot of strong women that I know, and it didn't involve sex. One guy called his definition of brotherhood all the people that he's had sex with recently.
Open for debate.
Yeah, so we go on with the contest. I had brought a suitcase full of gear, so I could do cruise wear, formal wear, jockstrap, and then a final outfit at the end. And one guy, he just showed up all in gear. So for the first time around, and for the formals, he wore what he had. For cruise wear, he takes off his jacket. For jock wear, he removes his chaps. So basically, he just stripped down for all the contests. And I go, well, that's the way to do it. And if it works, and if he wins, then score. Then we had to answer a question. We were given questions before the contest started. These were serious questions, not like the silly one that you had to answer on stage, Frosty.
That wasn't that silly. I mean, it was kind of valid, but there's been worse. I've heard worse very recently.
The question I got was, say you're at a bar and you're watching...
You're at a bar.
Thank you. And I'm watching... You don't have to say that part. I'm watching a demonstration, and somebody near me is having a difficult time watching this demonstration. How do you talk to them about it? And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember that I started talking to the 2 MCs, and then I turned to the audience once I got my rhythm going, and I talked at length with not as many pauses as I'm doing right now, and but I got a chuckle out of the audience, and so I thought it went very well.
So they're to blame. They're the ones who inspired you to believe that you're funny.
Yep. I knew I was funny, but it's nice to get that.
That explains why you MC everything these days.
Oh, I wish I MC'd everything these days. I really wish I did. But right now, I'm only doing flag, and if I'm lucky, I'm doing the rubber contest. I'd love to MC the leather contest.
Oh, the one we just had.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Right.
Here, he tells so many inappropriate jokes. I love it.
What the MC
Yeah.
for? Yeah. See, I wouldn't do that. I don't make the ASL interpreter sign so many inappropriate things.
Susan loves it.
Yeah.
Susan standing up there in her corset and her high heel boots and just signing awful sexual things with a smile.
Yes, yeah, she's good about that sort of thing. But, you don't have to make her do it, and you don't do it.
No objection. She has no objection.
I know.
Okay, so moving on. They liked
It's a
it.
movie, yeah. And then so I'm backstage getting ready for the next part of the contest. Another contestant on stage answering his question. His question was, can you name about 5 or 6 leather periodicals that you like to read? Beforehand, he was backstage going, oh my God, what's out there for leather periodicals? I don't read this stuff. And me, I rattled off about 6 titles. He goes, great, I'll use that. Fine. So he's on stage and he rattles off those same titles. And the judges think about it a bit and they go back and go, so what do you like about them? And backstage, I hear this absolute silence on stage and I go, oh, that's not good. Because he never asked why I liked them. I simply rattled off some titles.
They're there.
They're there. Yeah.
That's why I like them. That's what I love about them, that they exist.
That's right. In the end, I won.
Imagine.
And I wasn't intending to, but I was the best guy for the job.
And since then, you've been very much ingrained within the leather community. I'm not going to lie about that. You're actually one of the reasons that I got into it, because you were welcoming and brought me into so many things.
Aw, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So, shall I get into IML?
You shall. We're going to get somewhere beyond local and go into the crazy.
Crazy? It's a little bonkers, yeah.
So I'm right still.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
The Cape Media Center, located in Dennisport, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, is a non-profit community media center and the public access TV station for the towns of Barnstable, Yarmouth, Dennis, Harwich, and Chatham. Our mission is to build community through media, enhance democratic communication, and facilitate free expression by providing these towns with a state-of-the-art media resource center. Members can become trained in our video and audio equipment and produce their own media content. Membership includes training classes, access to our field equipment, studios and facility, as well as airtime. Podcasters and music producers can share their content on our website. For more information, visit capemedia.org.
This episode of Bourbon on Ice is brought to you by Market Street Bookshop in Mashpee Commons, located at 31 Market Street, Mashpee, Massachusetts. Embrace diversity and find support for local authors and artists at the Market Street Bookshop, where your favorite new read is just a browse away. For more information, give them a call at 508-539-6985.
Hey, everybody, we're back, and I'm going to tell you all about IML.
Or, as we call it, IML.
No, we don't.
No one calls it IML but me.
We don't do IML, we don't do MA, we don't do MIR.
We totally do MIR. I've heard people call it MIR.
Thanks to Claw, people want to pronounce all the acronyms.
Mal.
Mal means bad, and we don't want to do that.
Or Mr. Nell.
Mr. Nell. Yeah.
All right. I'll pipe down.
Yeah, thank you. So,
No, I won't. I'm going to lead this in because that's what I do. So, tell us about IML, or IML.
So, Mr. Boston Leather is one of those feeder contests with a D to International Mr. Leather. And part of the prize for winning the title of Mr. Boston Leather is the Ramrod would pay for my admission into the contest, and they would pay for my hotel and then still give me a little bit of spending money.
That sounds nice.
It is. And then they would, hand me the application because I had to fill it out. And I had to fill out, there was so many. I thought the Mr. Boston Leather application was intense. No, there was a lot going on here. I had to tell them who I was, how I represent myself, what charities I like, what sponsors I have, the bar, and what I hope to do with the title.
World Peace.
World Peas.
Those are delicious.
Yes, so...
I've been waiting for someone to make that reference. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So, I fly to Chicago. And that was my first plane ride in a long time.
I was going to say, was that your first plane ride?
Almost. First plane ride was to England, so this one was considerably shorter. And I get to the hotel, and I see this big open space. There's like the lobby, and then this big space between 2 escalators, and I was told that this is where the cruising's gonna happen. If you want to find a large group of men, it's here.
Cruising as in
checking out another guy looking for a sexy man to have a anonymous sexual liaison. Except you'll probably get a name, at least.
I'm not sure how to respond to that, so let's just move on.
Okay, then. Let's see. What was my first?
Don't tell me about your first encounter.
No.
It's not that type of show.
Honestly, I didn't hook. Wait, did I? At the end, I did.
Please don't.
No.
Whiskey, save me. Wherever you are.
He can't
Shine the whiskey signal.
He cannot save you here. Ta-da.
What was that?
I don't know. I was trying to make up a name and I failed miserably. My first function was the interview. And that was when I really wished that there was an actual interview for Mr. Boston Leather, because it was very intense. I had like 8 judges lined up, and I had to answer a question to each one. Yeah. There were questions I'm pretty sure I didn't give the right answer to, but you're supposed to speak from the heart, so...
And sometimes your heart is a stupid place because you should be answering from your head.
Yeah, I mean, one guy asked if I would ever go to an unknown location in full gear, and I said no, I wouldn't, because you don't know what it's like. I could be, wandering into like an inner city with a thug on every corner waiting to jump you. So, go leather light, a jacket and boots, get the lay of the land, and if it looks safe, then go back again in the full gear. I thought that was reasonable, and judging by the judge's reaction, nope, that was the wrong answer.
No, they were probably waiting for you to say something along the lines of, well, absolutely, I am all 100% for it. And
right, exactly.
You had a very pragmatic answer.
Right, yeah, and stuff like that. And we had one of our judges had just co-written a Star Trek Next Generation book, so I wore a Next Generation communicator badge on my vest. I thought it might win me a few points.
It didn't.
It didn't, no. Nope, not at all.
This was probably prior to the rise of nerd culture, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm,
What was it, 80s?
Oh, no, this was 2003.
Oh, okay, well, still,
it was a while ago, yeah.
nerds like us hadn't made our move yet.
I
We
mean-
now own the world.
I mean, you figure at the time I competed, it was like, what, Doctor Who 2 BC, before the second series came out?
Exactly, you're right.
Yeah.
And Big Bang Theory hadn't arrived on television yet. Or had
Yeah.
it? Well, hang on. To the internet. Away!
The internet, yeah. While he thinks about that. And at the end, I had to simply acknowledge each judge by looking at them, and then looking at them, then looking at them. And when I got to the guy for Star Trek, I held up my Vulcan salute to him, again, thinking it might win me a couple of points.
It didn't.
It didn't.
Okay, I found it. Just to finish off, Big Bang Theory was in 2007, so yes, you were definitely before nerd culture took over the world. Moving on then.
Thank you. The next part of IML was signing posters. I want to know what it's like to sign like 150 posters.
Like a celebrity.
Like a celebrity. My wrist was getting sore.
They literally made you sit at a table and sign autographs?
Oh, no, well, not sit at a table. No, they had all these posters laid out on tables, and you had to walk amongst them, signing all and sundry, because everybody who competed was going to get a poster with all the signatures.
Oh, wait, I've seen that thing. I've seen that thing in your house.
It's singing up right.
Oh, that. Oh, wow.
Except I think I missed one, and that's the one I got. So the one I missed doesn't have my signature on it.
It's like you were never there.
Right, exactly. But I got it.
The missing contestant.
But I was, because only contestants got it. So like the contestants get one, the judges get one. They might auction off some of them for charity. And I don't know what they do with the rest of them. Line some bird's cage, I suppose. I don't know. And so I had to do that. And then I had to do a photo shoot.
A photo shoot.
Uh-huh. And some contests, when you do the photo shoot, require that you do a nude picture.
What a swell gig these people have set up.
And
there's someone who has to help you change. There's someone who has to make you do a nude photo.
Luckily, IML does not do that. So I was, I stripped down to a jock, and that was enough for me. I was not prepared to show all my goods in print, unless large sums of money were involved. Hint.
Just curious. Didn't you do porn at one point?
Shush. That was later. It was a labor of love. Thank you very much.
Literally. I think I need to go lie down.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. So what else was there? Oh yeah, and then so that was the interview. And so my first time on stage was all right. So the first time on stage was just the big introduction. Everybody gets introduced. They pick their contestant number.
Don't you mean contestant?
No.
You said contested number.
Contestants numbers. And we're all not wanting to pick number one. Luckily, number one was picked before I got there. So, yay, I wasn't number one.
Why did no one want that one?
I don't know. For some reason, nobody wants to be the first one on stage.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Because then everyone has to measure up to you.
Well, after that, everybody else gets to see what happens before they take the stage.
That's a good
as
point.
opposed to number one who has no idea.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. So, so that's pecs and personality. You get your number, and yes, and that's it. Then, the first time on stage, you get your number. Then you do pecs and personality, where you have to basically undress.
Ooh la la.
Yes. Now
We're French now.
So I was in heavy contact with the guy who was supposed to be the den daddy.
How sweet.
And he impressed upon me that even though the pecs and personality is the jock portion, they were trying to kind of get away from the jock portion and just have people wear what looks good on them. He said if you look good, if you look good in a jockstrap, then you wear the jockstrap. And if you look good in a full suit, then you wear the full suit. And I go, really? Well then, I was not feeling very sexy naked, but I thought I looked damn good in one of my spandex catsuits. So I wore the spandex catsuit, and I was the only one.
Kind of dropped the ball there.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yep. And we had the opportunity to go out on stage twice. So the first time I had the catsuit, and the second time I wore the jock, but I'm pretty sure they only scored on the first time around. So I probably looked okay the second time around, but it didn't count.
Too late. Sorry.
Yep.
Try again later.
Yep. And then the next time we were all on stage was at the theater. I forget the name of the theater. But we were at a theater, and we're on stage, and they picked the top 20, and I wasn't one of them. Since then, many Mr. Boston Leathers had gone on to become part of the top 20, but not me. Nope.
I actually did some web crawling as we were sitting here, and I found the list of people that were the contestants that year, and there you are.
Oh, yeah.
And I recognized Troy. Troy Anisette?
Yep.
Did I say his name right?
I think so.
Okay, well, he's a friend too, but I just want to make sure I said his name right.
I'm friends with about maybe 2 or 3 of my classmates.
There's a man who competed. His name is Mario Bourgeoisie. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Canadian.
Yeah, that's him. There he is.
Yep. All the Canadian guys are totally cool. Douglas Connors, if you can find him, total sweetheart.
Mr. Leather, Ottawa.
Yep. Ottawa, Otawai.
Thank you. I was about to say, how do you pronounce this mysterious word?
Because he said it first, and I remembered. He's
Like, oh, thank heavens you said it.
he's a fantastic guy, totally adorable, furry as heck, a real sweetheart.
Heck is furry? I mean, heck is furry?
Yes.
Okay, we'll just go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, all the Canadian guys, they were just like the best. I just wanted to keep hanging out with them.
So, you did it. You left.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. So after all the top 20s are picked, then the top 20 go off and continue to compete. The rest of us just have to find a place in the audience to watch the rest. We're not allowed to leave until it's all done because we all have to leave at the same time on the buses. So I was stuck there. I found another guy who had not made the top 20, and we shared a little cry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not because I didn't make the top 20, but since we were separated, it was a signal that the weekend was about to end.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long does this thing go? Is it a 3-day contest or a 4-day contest? Or?
Let's see. We do the original. Well, it could be a 5-day considering. So let's see. No, first day. Let's see. We did the intro, and we get the pecs and personality and the stage. So it's probably 4 days. The first day is the interview, and then we do the pecs and no, because we had to pick our contestant numbers first. It's amazing how much you forget when it's been, forever.
19 years.
Thank you. 19 years. 19 years, really?
You said this was 2003.
Yeah. God, next year is going to be like the 20th anniversary of doing the contest.
You guys should get together.
Oh, my God.
You guys should get together and drink and be sad. Because time passes.
Time passes, yeah. He's like, I remember you looking a lot younger.
Congratulations! You too.
Yeah, really. So it was probably a 4-day thing. We had the intro, then the interview, pecs and personality, and then the thing on stage. Yeah. So like the morning of the 5th day, I was out the door, taking the train to the airport and heading back home. My tail tucked between my legs.
But, sad as you were, would you recommend this? Would you do it again?
Absolutely. Do it again. I've thought about competing in some other contest that would feed to IML so I could do it again, do it properly. Let somebody else do it. One thing they kept asking us was how badly we wanted to be International Mr. Leather. And a lot of us said we'd rather just stick with our own community and help make it better rather than worry about the international.
What's your thoughts about that?
I like that idea because, you've got to be rich or a really good fundraiser to get all this money to travel. I mean, you can beg,
borrow or steal.
You can beg to sleep on somebody's couch, but you still got to get there. So, you could be invited to do to judge a contest in Germany.
That doesn't mean you're going to show up.
Well, yeah, that too. But, if you want to do it, you got to pony up the bucks to get there and then to stay somewhere. So being a title holder is pricey.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
And then you might want to get some brand new gear, though if you're lucky, manufacturers may sponsor some gear for you so you don't have to worry about it. But, if you're going to buy it, you got to buy the good stuff to look really good because all the title holders look really good. So, yeah, title holders. So let's see. Another contest I competed for was Mr. Ocean State Leather. That was in 2001.
I was about to say, there's an Ocean State job lot nearby. I'm assuming those are different things.
Well, I imagine Ocean State Job Lot started in Rhode Island. So Mr. Ocean State Leather was in Providence, Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. This was a contest put on by the Rhode Island, the enforcers of Rhode Island.
Which again sounds so cool.
It does, yeah.
Ominous.
It was a good organization. It lasted a long time until it just finally went.
As all things do eventually.
Yep. Be glad because it happened, be sad because it ended. Right? Is that how it goes? Doctor?
Something like that.
Something like that.
It sounds more positive than I'm familiar with. You know me and positivity.
Yeah.
Happiness, joy, I don't do that.
And you don't do that, I know. Ocean State Leather, I was one of 2 people. They had a whole bunch of titles. They had Mr., Ms., and Boot Black. So I was one of 2 men competing for Mr. There was 1 person competing for Ms. and 2 people competing for Boot Black. And Mr. Ocean State Leather had a category that you're probably very glad you didn't have to do.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to burst into laughter at this.
Fantasy.
Yep. Mr. Michael T. Whiskey, you stand accused by Sergeant Pepper of the esteemed Cape Cod Police Department of driving under the influence of alcohol. Paralegals, you gotta proofread these things. Come on, you're making me look silly. Mr. Whiskey, how do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
But you admitted to Sergeant Pepper to being drunk on the scene.
That's correct, Your Honor, but I would like to put forward that while I may have been drunk, the horse was as sober as the Pope on Sunday.
You were driving a horse?
No, sir, he was taking himself home. I was just along for the ride.
On the horse?
He's a good horse, knows where he's going.
That is a good horse. Anyway, is there any case law on this? Virginia, you say? Riding lawnmowers, well, that doesn't help this case. Florida? Oh, no, I don't even want to know.
Judge?
Hi.
One of the guys you were competing
Oh, one of the guys I competed against. His name was Zach. He's a deaf guy. Totally adorable sweetie. Oh, my God. And he had his female interpreter with him. So, the one woman amongst a whole bunch of guys, and we were totally cool with her because where she was, he was, and he was a hot guy.
Did he have any other attributes?
Big smile.
Okay, well, that still looks.
Yes.
Did he mention his charity work or rescuing puppies from burning buildings?
I don't know. I didn't sign language at the time, so. And, you could look at him and listen to his interpreter, but I would just be like, hi. Exactly, yep. That's exactly.
I'm busy taking you in.
Pretty much, yeah. But, a big guy, nice smile, nice hugs. Like,
I want to give a shout out to Marky Bucknam and Sir Justin Eddy, 2 members of our community that happen to be deaf, and they have interpreters. They show up at events, they run for things, they contribute. Just being deaf is not automatically you won't get anywhere in the fetish community. People find ways to make things work, and I salute them.
In the during the Pex and Personality and the day before with the introduction, there was a deaf section of the auditorium, so they could sit close to the stage, and somebody was up there signing away. So they had their own perspective.
That's nice of them. I mean, that was very good. Do they still have that?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the contest.
What are other things that you've done? I know that there's MLW and Snowbound, but those are local. Don't you go to something that's named after a plane?
Oh.
Or a large piece of land?
Delta. So Delta is this play group. Delta is, it's held at a camp.
A secret camp.
And I can't say where.
A secret location.
Indeed, it's very secret.
Secretness.
Not supposed to mention it. But what happens at Delta is...
Stays at Delta. Yeah, I was right.
So they say if you're going to take a picture, don't take a picture that will easily identify the camp to anybody else.
Oh my gosh, this really is...
Oh, yes. So it's at the secret organization. Some people don't want to know that we're there. But we are.
We've infiltrated every level of society.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a beautiful space. There's another organization that does a play group like this. It's called Inferno, held by the Hellfire Group. And
I just gotta tell everyone, that's not the Hellfire Club from Stranger Things that plays D&D. So if you've been looking for that since the recent season of Stranger Things came out and found weird sexual images, now you know why.
Yes. It's not the one you're thinking of.
Not the one you're thinking of. The other one.
The other one. So Inferno is held at a hotel resort.
Oh.
With some space in the back, like tents and what have you. Delta is held at a camp. So it's mostly outdoors, but it's got cabins. They've upgraded the cabins recently, so there's hot and cold running water, showers, toilets. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Before that there wasn't?
Well, no, there were, but they weren't the best. And actually, the cabins weren't the best because they didn't actually have windows.
Oh.
It would just be a screen with a big piece of wood that you can close, but still the air would get in. So if it was a cold night, it was a cold night.
So basically, you get like a Hogwarts owl shows up and hands you a letter saying you've been invited to Delta. Come and bring something kinky and to bring a blanket.
Well, no. See, the only way to get into Delta is to be a member or to be invited by a member.
So basically, I'm still right.
Yeah, kind of. If it was your first time, then yeah, you would have a sponsor, like say for example me, and I would hand you the letter saying you've been invited to come to Delta and be kinky with the rest of us.
Can I be invited?
Well, since we've played together, yes, I think you could.
Me?
Yes.
Sweet, innocent. Wipe that look off your face.
Not innocent, I hope. If you're innocent, that's gonna take care of things. We don't want innocent people.
Oh my gosh. Your life is fascinating. Your journey has been fascinating. And I look back and I thank God for the day that the two of us met and you welcomed me into the community.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't I?
I love you, man.
I love you too. Don't get modeling on me.
This is getting emotional. We should end the episode.
Should we?
Yes.
Oh. It goes so fast.
Time keeps on slipping.
Slipping. Into the future. All right, fine. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I am your friend Frosty.
And I'm your friend Robare.
And as always,
have a cold one on us.
I didn't even have to prompt you. It's like you listened to us.
I listened to so many episodes. I know this part by heart.
That really warms my heart. I'm assuming that's what that feeling is.
Ba-dum. Okay,
that's
Wee.
Oh, you're going to get it now.
This podcast was recorded at and produced by Cape Media Center on Cape Cod, Massachusetts by podcasting duo Mike Whiskey and Your Friend Frosty. All music and sound credits go to soundstripe.com. Special thanks to Jamie Horton, Emily Tulloch, Gabrielle Rawson. For more information on Bourbon on Ice, visit our social media page at twitter.com/whiskeyfrosty. For more information on Cape Media Center, visit capemedia.org. For more listening options and a variety of podcasting entertainment, visit our hosts at buzzsprout.com and capemediacenter.org.